this is Sam of Sambookery. Today I have a free printable folio project for you guys. A couple videos ago, when we were looking back at all of the junk journals we made in 2025 on this channel, I realized that I never made a folio for my Wild Meadow collection. So this is the journal from that collection. And so I thought I would make a folio for you guys and just give it to you as a freebie, just a way to like kind of finalize that collection and make it complete, because I felt like it was incomplete from last year. So head over to my website. I'll put a link on the screen at the end of the video as well as in the description, and grab this free printable. And come back here so you guys can craft along with me. So let me show you all of the pages to print out. Everything is on cardstock except one page, and I will show you that. So this is the folio outside here. And I backed it with this. There's several backing options, and you can back it with whatever you choose. So I printed mine on 80-pound cardstock. It is the thickest cardstock my printer can take, so that's what I use. If you want to see the exact paper I use in my favorite supplies list, which is linked in the description under the video, I have a link to the exact cardstock I buy and the exact paper I buy. This is the second page. It has got tags, labels, tabs, a bookmark, and I backed it with this neutral burlap texture. And then we've got a little mini folio, a pocket, and some more journaling cards, again on cardstock, and I backed it with this calligraphy print. And then this is the only thing I printed on regular paper. I use 32-pound copy paper for mine. You can print this on cardstock as well, but I just chose to make this little booklet out of paper. And I backed it with this same print. So once you get everything printed out, oh, and I did make this easy for you guys. The backing prints are non-directional. Oh no, these two are non-directional. So I would choose one of these to back this. And then this one is a vertical print, so I only used it on things where everything on the page is vertical, so that the text wouldn't be, you know, going the wrong direction. So print everything out. And this is a super quick and easy project. You'll need some scissors. If you have a scoring board, it's very handy. The bone folder. And we'll definitely need some glue. I like to use my art glitter glue. Use whatever glue or double-sided tape you have on hand. And then there's a few extra things I will show you, but these are the basics you need just to get started to make this kit. So let's see. We'll start by getting everything cut out. These two circles can be punched out. Let me find it. With a 1-inch circle punch. If you have that, these holes can be punched out with a regular hole punch. This one's a little bit smaller. If you have a crocodile or a, let's see, it is a 3/16 size hole punch. If you can see this size here, that's the exact size, but you can always just use a regular hole punch there. And I think that's the only thing. Oh, for the corner rounding, if you have a corner rounder, either the crocodile, let's see, you either have one of these or a small, medium, and large one. That's handy for rounding the corners. Not necessary, but if you have one, it saves you a little time. And that's it. Oh, I like to use these Cutter Bee little tiny scissors to do like the fiddly bits, like the curves here or anything small and fiddly. They're easier to maneuver in small spaces. But that's what I will be using. So let's go ahead and get everything cut out. I usually start with the main folio, and these are straight lines on 3 sides. So if you have a paper trimmer, let me grab this. That makes quick work of this. And I love this Fiskars one because it has this metal wire here and it shows you exactly where you're going to be cutting, which is so helpful when you're trying to like cut this out and not leave any white. So let's do the trimmer on just these 3 straight edges here. I go back and forth whether I use a trimmer or scissors, just whatever I have handy or depending on where I'm sitting. If I've got a lot of time, I will just sit and cut everything out with a pair of scissors because it's kind of relaxing. But I'm not the best at straight, so if I want it accurate, I grab a trimmer. All right, now I just need to do the top here. So don't stress about being exactly on the line. It looks cute even if you're not exactly following the edge, as long as you're close. It's just like a decorative edge, just to fancy up the folio a little bit. And if you guys like this folio, I have a ton of folio projects. I think I have some other free ones, and I've got several paid kits on my website. When you're there getting the free printable, you can check them out. I love making folios. They're really quick projects, but they're like a complete project. So you feel like you've, made something and accomplished something in a short amount of time. Compared to like junk journals, which are kind of more of a time investment. So here is our main folio. This is the outside, this is the inside. And all we need to do is there are 2 faint white lines on here, and we're just gonna score on these lines just to help us fold it. If you don't have a scoring board, it's okay. You can grab a ruler and line it up on the line and just use something pointed but kind of dull just to set a crease in there. That's all I do. If you've got a big scoring board, it's probably a little better for something this large, but this little one works. It goes right to the edge and it works, and this is easier for me to get in the shot for you guys. So now that we've scored them, we're just going to fold this side in, and if you've got a bone folder, very handy. If you don't, let's see, if you've got the regular plastic scissors, not the kind with the rubbery handles, but regular plastic ones, you can just use those to set your creases. And then we fold in this side. And here is the main structure of what we're making. Super fast, super simple. And now we just need to do everything that goes inside. So I'm gonna set that aside. These are, I'm just gonna cut them out though. These are straight. If you wanna use your paper trimmer for these as well, you can. These are gonna make a little booklet to go inside the folio for writing on. And you could print these out more than once if you want to have like more pages in your booklet. I did that on one of the recent videos. I think it might have been Candy Cottage in that kit, just to see. And it's not too thick. It fits fine in the folio if you want to make a booklet with more pages. I just printed one out for this one just to show you guys, but that's one way you can customize this. So the way I'm showing you to make this today is not the right way to do it. There's so many ways you can put these together, and I do it differently every time. I have a playlist on my channel of all my folio tutorials, and if you want to get some different ideas on how you can put these same pieces together just in a different way, pop that playlist on and have a look at the other ways I've assembled it. And it'll give you some great tips and ideas. Alrighty, and we just need to fold these in half. Yeah, I think that'll be the outside, so I'll just fold them this way. We are gonna round the corners. If you don't have a corner rounder, go ahead and round them with your scissors while you're cutting it out. Let's see, but I have got one, and I like to do it when it's already folded. That way the corners come out exactly the same. So here we go. Here's our little pages, and we're gonna nest them together to make a little booklet. But let's see. I think this is the medium on here. So when they're folded together, close. I didn't trim this one. There's a little bit of white showing. So let me trim that off, and we'll do it again. So all these tools I use are on my favorites list, and also I have an Amazon storefront. It's got all of these in there because I know you guys sometimes have questions on what I'm using, so I've got them all listed there. I am an affiliate, so I do earn from qualified purchases on Amazon. But check that out if you're in the need of a good pair of scissors or a good corner rounder. All right, so there's our booklet already made. And now we've got 2 pages left. Let's start with these larger elements here. This is a folio. It's just like the big one, but it's shrunk down mini sized. We're gonna use it inside the folio. So we're just gonna cut this out on the lines. And then this one, I do kind of like to use a smaller scissor for this because it gets pretty tight here in the corners. The intersections. So the Wild Meadow kit was actually the first kit I ever designed and created. If you are new to the channel, if you scroll back to the beginning of 2025, there are a ton of freebies with this kit, because as I was like designing like the shapes and the templates and stuff, I was just giving them away for free to you guys because it was like a learning process for me. So if you've missed all those free printables, definitely scroll back and watch those videos and grab those. All right, so there are 2 faint lines on here, but they're really faint. I can see this one, but it doesn't matter where the lines are. You're just folding it in thirds, just like we did this one. So I can see this one though. I'm gonna crease this one here and fold it down. And now all I have to do is fold this one up and make sure it doesn't hit that line, or just gets kind of close to it like that. So here's our big folio and our mini folio. And I know you guys were interested in more mini projects, so I'm definitely gonna put out like some mini folios where this is the whole project and these things are shrunk down to fit inside here. Definitely on my list for those of you that are either enamored with the cuteness that is mini, or brave and patient and can do tiny things. It's really not that hard. At times I've been kind of afraid to cut out like mini fussy cuts and things, but once I've done it, I'm like, oh, this isn't that hard. I'm not a big fan of doing tiny things, but these tiny junk journals, I do a lot of mini journals and it's not any harder. And it's so much cuter. It's tiny, and you know, it's a faster project because everything is scaled down. All right, so we just chopped off the corners of this journaling card. And we've got 2 journaling cards on this page. And this is a cute way, anytime you've got like a rectangle piece of ephemera, just to add a little bit different feel to it, just chop off the corners. I need to do that more often because I really like this look. And if you don't have a corner rounder, this looks just as cute and super quick and easy. All right, this is a pocket. It's the big main pocket of the folio, and it's got tabs so that it is a gusseted pocket so it can hold a ton of things. So we're just cutting around the outside here. All right, and we do need to fold on the tabs. Let me dump all of this off. All right, so again, grab your scoring board, and we're just going to fold or score on these 3 white lines. Just like that. And now we need to fold them back. and press them in. And here's our pocket. If for some reason you don't like what's on this side, you can always flip it over. Whatever you printed on the back, you can fold it the opposite direction, and now that's your pocket. Or if you need a pocket that goes the opposite angle. We're gonna do it like this. And that's all we need the scoring board for. And now we've just got one sheet left. And this is just full of all the cute little things we are gonna stuff this folio with. So just gonna cut everything out. If you like to ink your edges, I'm trying to decide if I'm gonna do that. I did ink all of the other Wild Meadow things, so I probably will. So I will show you. There are a few inks I like, but Vintage Photo is my favorite, and that is what I used for the rest of the kits in Wild Meadow. So I'll just use this for continuity, because I will tuck this folio into the journal when I'm done, just to keep everything together. All right, I think we can use the small size on this card to round the corners. There we go, cute little dandelion. Let's make a pile here. Scraps like this that are bigger, you can save. I'm just gonna square it up, because this makes a great label or background to a word strip. So those are good to hang on to. Whenever I'm cutting out kits, I always keep the big pieces from the trash in case I need them in the kit. A lot of times you can use them as belly bands, as a background to another piece of ephemera, just to help it stand out more. So you can make labels out of them. And if I don't use it in the kit, I've got a tab punch, and I will just sit there one day with all my scraps and punch out a million tabs, so I have them. I do usually include this kind in my kits, but I have this single. I'll just punch it out here, show you guys if I can get it in. So I will go through all the scraps and punch out these tabs. And now the back doesn't look good, but you punch out two and you glue them back to back over the edge of a page, and you don't see that. And then you've got a ton of free tabs. I love tabs. So that's something I do with the scraps. All right, speaking of tabs, so when you cut these tabs out, cut them into squares first. Leave these little fiddly bits here. We are going to fold them in half first and then cut these out. That way the front and back match and they're not kind of peeking out from behind the other side. So just fold them in half, give them a good crease. The cardstock's pretty stiff that I use, so you want them to stay nice and flat. All right, and now we're gonna cut out the white parts with it folded so that both sides end up being exactly the same. It just looks a little nicer. Do that to both of your tabs. I usually use these tabs on the little mini booklet, but you can also use them on the folio as well, or as a topper to the ephemera. There's so many options. I love playing with these kits and just coming up with new ways to use them. All right, we have labels. I did something different on this one and used kind of lined writing paper for the labels, so they already are lines on them if you want to write something here, which I think is handy. I know I have trouble writing or doing anything in a straight line, honestly. So I did give you guys like a little bit of a guide on these. Or if you're stamping, if you got like letter stamps or something, you're stamping something on there. Now even this size piece, I will try to get them in a more uniform shape. but you can fold this in half. And on the top of a journaling card, or even if you don't have a hole punch, you can glue this to the top here, and it just makes a little cute addition. Actually, I'm gonna do that, so we'll save that to your journal. So save everything except these. So let's cut out this little ticket here, which I kind of made as a label as well. I like using tickets as labels or as little pockets. All right. So let's see, let's get this bookmark out of here. And actually, this is a good time for me to show you guys. If you have a hole punch, a circle punch, and you're punching these out, leave them attached to this piece so you have something to hold onto while you are trying to center them in the hole punch. And they should fit without any white showing. But I've trimmed them down before, and then I didn't have anything to hold onto to maneuver them in place, and it was a real pain. So that's why I try to remember to tell you guys. All right, there's our 2 circles. And then we have this bookmark. So I usually will cut it out, the straight edges first, and come back and do the fussy cutting. All right. So now let's do the top of the bookmark. It's got the same kind of scallop shape as the folio. All right, there we go. And a couple of tags and a couple of just square cards. I like squares, and I think they're handy for making clusters if you're layering things together. So we're just going to cut out these tags. There's 1. There's 2, and I left these plain on the back so you can write or stamp or whatever. Sometimes I like busy, fun prints on the back of my things, and sometimes I like something more neutral so that I can add more to it. So I do try to give you guys options like that in the kits. This cute little fox, you guys, look how cute. And that's mainly the Wild Meadow kit is a lot of just cute woodland animals and flowers. Okay, let's clear off the mess. Yeah, some of these bits are still pretty big, so I'll hang on to that one in case we need it. You never know. And I punched this out, so I'll hang on to it in case I need to punch another one and we can make a tab. All right, so if you want to ink, because I don't punch these holes yet until I know what I'm doing with them. I don't always thread something through the hole. Sometimes I just staple something on top. So I'll hang on to those. Like this one, we're just going to glue this down, and it's more stable if there's not a hole there already. But if we're going to ink, guys, I have to decide. I think it's this one. I have different stampers depending on which color ink I'm using. But here is my vintage photo Distress Oxide. I don't know why, but I always get the oxide ones. I think because they're permanent. Or they're not permanent. No, they're not permanent, and that way I can wash them off my hands when I overstamp onto my hands. Or over ink. So links to all this and my favorites. If you don't already have this, you haven't been like making cards or crafting for a while. And the only reason we do this, one, it looks vintage. Makes it look older, right? Time worn. And also covers up the white edge. Not just the white edge of the paper, but if you didn't cut exactly and there's a little bit of white showing, it hides those mistakes. So just gives your project a nice finished look, and it kind of unifies everything. If everything's got this edging to it, it kind of all starts looking like it goes together. Even if you use things like real pieces of vintage paper or stuff from different kits, if you give them all the same treatment, they start being unified and look like a cohesive kit. All right, so we're gonna do that. Now these don't have rounded corners, but I pretty much always do round the corners on them because I think it looks cute. So I do the small because they're so tiny. So remember, if you're inking, round your corners first, then ink, or you'll be cutting off and having to go back. And I just do a little bit. I don't try to make things look super old and grungy. I just do a little bit. There's different levels of grunge. And I do kind of, it's recently old. It hasn't been dragged through the dirt or anything. It's slightly time worn. But you guys do however you like to do. There's so many fun colors in these ink pads too. You can get like the whole set of colors and use the color that matches the kit or to matches the paper that you're inking. So fun. It's kind of a slippery slope. So I just stick to a couple of neutrals because if I don't, I'll end up just wanting all the colors, and that's a lot. Especially now that they are not as easy to get a hold of with all the craft stores closing, going out of business. All right, we'll do these circles here. Oh, oh my gosh, we're gonna have to go in the trash because I do need a couple of extra circles, or is it just one, for a closure we're gonna do. So I will look and see if I can find a piece big enough to punch another circle out of. So we've done all this. We just got a few more to go. And I don't usually do this all real time on camera for you guys, but I thought I would because a lot of you guys are new, came in over like the junk journal kit giveaways at the end of 2025, watching those videos. So you might not have seen the process before. And also just to show you guys like real time, it doesn't take that long to make these. Like I'm not editing out big chunks of time. We're doing this all together and it will be less than an hour and we'll be done. So super quick, fun project. On these, I do like to ink the creases. I think, honestly, an old document, that's where it would get dirty, is like on the creases. So, and then I also will reverse fold it and do the inside of the crease as well. There's that. We've got the pages. I don't do, because the paper's really thin and I don't want to bend the paper by inking it. We can do it with them hooked together maybe and just do the white edges. I think that's all right. But I press hard and I'll bend the paper. All right, and of course the main folio. And I definitely, if you don't ink anything else, this is a good one to do, just because this is what you'll see most of the time when this is sitting like closed or whatever. And on this one, I'll go around the outside and the inside. But let's get these outside folds here. And then on the inside, we'll go around the edges. And then carefully reverse fold it. I don't press too hard, but I do reverse fold it so I can ink the fold. And there we go. That only took a few minutes. Everything has been inked. I'm gonna kind of clear off, my sponge is disintegrating here. You kind of have to change them. And honestly, those packs on Amazon of like 1,000,000 sponges are a good deal, but they are not as sturdy as like the original ones. I don't know if they're Ranger or what. So they do shred a bit, but easily cleaned. All right, here we go. Let's assemble this, you guys. So make sure you got it going the right way, right? And I start with the biggest things. These are the two biggest things. We've got a pocket and we've got this mini folio. So I usually add those first. So I am gonna put this pocket here. I've mentioned this in other videos, but because this pocket is angled, if you put it here, whatever you put in here is gonna have a tendency to kind of fall out. And then when you try to close it, it's gonna be in the way. So if you wanna put the pocket on this side, I recommend flipping it over so that the tall side is on the outside. But we're gonna put it here, and I usually just put it towards the bottom. Before you glue it down, just have a look and make sure it's not too wide for your flaps to close. And it's not, mine's fine. It just kind of depends on how you cut things. Ooh, my glue's been sitting. Let's shake it up a little bit. So just put glue on the 3 tabs. We're gonna flip it over. And put it in here, and just make sure again that your flaps can close, that you didn't overlap this crease, and then press it down. And then the other large thing we have is this mini folio. I like to use this as a pocket, as a tuck spot. Probably not for that guy, he's a big card, but this one. So what I like to do, and now that I'm looking, this one might be tight. Yeah, I'm gonna trim off the edge. As you guys can see, it's a little bit wider than this section here, and I wanna use it on that section. So I am just gonna trim off a tiny bit. From this edge, and then make sure that's still rounded. And then re-ink it. Because I want to make sure this fits here. And now it fits with room to spare. Now you don't have to glue this down. You could just tuck it in a pocket and then it doesn't matter what size it is. But I like to glue it here and make an extra pocket and with like a secret opening. So to do this, have it facing you, right? We're not going to put glue on this top edge. So that's the edge you're going to hold when you flip it over. We're going to put glue all along the other 3 edges here. So we can turn this into a secret pocket. Well, it's not a secret because things are going to be sticking up out of it. You can see them. But if you wanted to hide something in there, you could. Again, just making sure it still closes before my glue sets. And now this is the pocket. So if you wanted to hide one of these cute little things in here, you could, and no one would know it is there. And usually this is where I would tuck these in and just hide those in there. And now those are the 2 main things. We also have our little journal booklet here. And I think I want to decorate, like this is the cover of the booklet. You can fold it however you want. If you could have this side out, that might look prettier. But I thought I would maybe layer something on here to kind of decorate the journal. I could do this. That looks cute. Let's do this. I haven't done that before. So we'll take one of the tags and we'll glue this down. Ooh, do we want it to be a pocket? We could make it a pocket to pull this for this. Let's see. So we're gonna have the label over. Or do we want to just do this and have like a trompe l'oeil tab? I don't know, you guys. There's so many options. Oh, let's just stick with the collage. It was too many ideas. We'll stick with the collage, but giving you a few ideas and other ways you can put this together. I won't make a pocket, so I'll just glue around the whole thing. And just sticking it about in the middle. I can't, yeah, that looks good. And we'll just layer this label on top. And I'm just covering up this circle here. So that's how I'm positioning it. So we'll do that. There is our cover. And here's our little journal. We can stitch it together, but I know not everyone's got needle and bookbinding things. So if you just have a stapler, you can just open this up and put a staple on the fold here and you're good to go. And now we've got our little booklet. The writing page, grid page. There's our little booklet. And I just tucked that in this large pocket here. All right, and then we did want to glue this as a tab on the top of here, so I'm gonna glue that down. Looks like a good place. There we go. Oh, our booklet, I forgot. We've got these tabs too. Let me organize all this ephemera here. If you guys can see all this. Let's see. Got more room over here. So we've got these tabs. And you can stick them, let me show you. If you want to put them on the side of the pages, there's plenty of room. It'll still fit here in between here. Or you can put them on the top. I think we'll do them on the side on this one. I'm just going to put them on the middle 2 pages. So I just open them up and I glue just on this bottom rectangle section. And then I fold it over and make sure it still looks straight. And then I put glue on all the rest of it. And then we'll do this one here at the, let's see, do we want it at the bottom? It'll be there. Or just under here. Let's do it at the bottom. I love using our glitter glue because it dries really quickly, but that is also a benefit and a downside. So you can't really make a mistake if you don't fix it within a few seconds. Like, it is glued to your paper. It's not coming off. But it's glued, nothing's moving, and I can just keep working and nothing moves, and it holds really strongly. So years down the road, things aren't going to be falling out like they will with like some glue sticks and some double stick tapes. So far that's definitely my favorite glue. Okay, we've got, look at this. We can tuck that in here. Trying to see what we want to put in pockets to see what else we want to do. So maybe tuck the rabbit in with that one. And this little tag will look cute. So we have two options. We can punch a hole and tie a piece of yarn or a piece of embroidery floss through this, or a tiny piece of ribbon. Or, let me grab one. We can take like a small piece of ribbon, or this is actually ribbon, but it's 100% cotton fabric, and just staple it on the top, which is my favorite way to do something to the top that doesn't add a lot of bulk. It's still really flat, but it adds a lot of interest. So this is just a mini stapler. I don't have this linked. I don't know if they still make it. This is a swing line. I've had this since high school or even before, but I'm sure they still make lots of mini staplers. I know Tim Holtz has some cute mini staplers. So there is that. And now we've got some interest in this pocket. It was super quick and easy. I might use those. Let's see. So we've got this pocket here, and it needs something. It's kind of plain. So I think I'll just add a label to the pocket. I think that looks cute. This little ticket label. So I used to put glue all over the entire back of everything, but the art glitter glue, one, dries so fast that part of it had already dried by the time I got to the end. And so I had to put more on that end. And then second, it's holds so strong. You don't need, it's overkill. You can't possibly need that much glue. Like, this stuff is not gonna come off. So it was just wasteful. So now I just put glue right on the edges. If I need a little hold in the center, I'll grab a glue stick and just put a little bit of glue stick in the center to hold. All right, we've got this giant card. I'm just gonna tuck him in behind here, behind the booklet. Sometimes I'll add these square cards to the top of one of these journaling cards as like a pull, like we did with this one, but just as a pull. And the back is the same, so it looks good on the back. So I think I'll do that with this one. So I just run a little bit of glue on the bottom here. It's mostly centered. And tuck that in there. And we've got this bookmark. So let me grab this crocodile and punch out the hole. And let me move some things here. So I'm gonna put some embroidery floss in here. Let's pick a good color. I think I'll pick this kind of golden. Actually, let's pick a couple colors. I want to pick like this teal. So I'll pick this golden color, and then I'll grab, sorry guys. And we'll grab, I forgot to grab some before I turned on the camera. Let's pick, we'll do these two colors. That will look nice. And if you guys have questions on the floss, I've been collecting it since I made friendship bracelets in the late 80s. And it's all DMC. They are the best, in my mind. I've never had issues with them, with fading or anything. So I'm gonna cut, I'm not sure, I think I'm gonna double up both of these strands because I kind of like to have a nice big tassel at the top of the bookmark. So I'm gonna cut these, end up doing 4 strands, 2 of each color. And nothing fancy, I just fold them in half and loop them through. And you can always trim them after, but you want them long enough to be easily looped through. So there's that bookmark. What's a good length? We'll do that. So there's our bookmark. We can keep it in here, but always I make the bookmarks to be used. Like, who doesn't need more bookmarks? I always have so many books going at once, just reference or reading, and it's nice to have multiple bookmarks. So we'll leave that there. What do we have left in the kit? Let's see. I think we just have the circles. This extra tab I made for fun. Oh yes. Here we go. I think this trash bit is big enough. I wanted to print another circle because I'm going to show you one of my favorite ways to do a closure. And this is what I said about leaving a piece long enough to fiddle with to get it in there. Okay. So let's see, before we do a closure, do we want to put these tabs on anything? Let me see. If I put this right here upside down, well, I can use it as a closure. Let's try that. All right, I'm just gonna ink it. Now, you don't have this, you probably don't have the punch tab I have, but you can just cut a similar shape or even just a rectangle out of your scraps to do this. I do sometimes like to have a closure for this. It tends to pop open. Over time, once it's stored closed, it'll lay flat. And also when you make it, if you crease it, reverse fold it, crease it really good the opposite direction, it will lay much flatter. I forgot to do that. But I'm gonna stick this here. I'm trying to decide, I think this direction. It's a little tall. I'm gonna trim it off. Because we just want to catch this bit, not these two side bits. So if I glue this here, this will tuck in and will stay closed. So when you glue it, don't glue the top edge. We're just gluing the sides and the bottom. Leave the rest open. And of course, totally not necessary, just another option. But this way you can tuck this in and then be able to open this up. And there's our little fox. And just kind of bend this a little bit and tuck it back in. All right, so that's the folio. And now you're gonna want some way to close it, right? Easiest way, if you don't have some of this extra stuff I'm gonna show you, is just grab a piece of lace, a piece of ribbon, some cording, some string, some kitchen twine, whatever you have. You can wrap it around a couple times, tie a little bow, and it looks super cute and it holds it closed. If you're tucking it into another journal and that's where it's gonna be, you don't even need a closure because being in the journal will keep it closed. And I will usually tuck them in the middle between signatures because there's that gap right there. And then it's totally fine. It's gonna stay closed and stay flat. But if it's a standalone project, it looks cuter and it keeps it closed if it's got some sort of closure. So I'm gonna show you today one that we're gonna use 3 circles for. The 2 from the kit and 1 you punched out from the scraps. I'm gonna ink this one too. And we want to make one of them, pick one, it's gonna be visible on the outside here. I've got that flower. I like this one. So this is gonna be my one on the top. Take your scrap one and glue it on the back, but with the nice side out. So it's like a 2-sided circle. And that is going to make this sturdier. Because this is what's keeping the journal closed, and 1 layer of cardstock is not, it'll work, but it'll get bendy. So if you just double it, it'll be a lot sturdier. Okay, so we have our double-sided one that's going to be visible here. And we've got the other one, which will be slightly visible. It's going to be underneath it here. So we need a few things for this. We need a little mini brad. And you guys, I could not find this exact kit, but I found something similar, and it is in my Amazon storefront because you guys have been asking about these tiny brads. I did find some that are the same size as this because it's a specific size that's very tiny. And I know shopping online, scale, it's impossible to tell what scale things are. All right, so I'm gonna use this little guy here, and we just need something sharp to poke a hole and something scrap you don't care about to poke into, like an old catalog. In the old days, we used to say grab a phone book. This is a piece of insulation foam we had left over, actually for making a quilt design wall. So I saved this scrap whenever I need to poke straight down into something just to protect my tabletop. So I'm sorry, gotta explain what I'm doing. Layer your 2 circles together, put them down. We're gonna poke a hole in the middle. We're just eyeballing it. It looks like the middle to me, and press down. Hang on to them, because now we're gonna stick our brad through this. So go from the top, which is gonna be the visible one, and all the way down through both circles and open the legs. So now you have 2 circles hooked together with the legs on the bottom. I also linked to this all. No one needs it in all this fancy, but I saw this and I had to have it. It's a beautiful wood handle, like turned wood, so smooth. It might have been for leather making. Anyway, super pretty. I also have alls I got from the Dollar Tree for $1, $1.25 probably, back in the day. So you can use a needle, anything you have to poke a hole. And now we are gonna glue this on the outside here. And we are putting glue on this bottom circle, which is free floating from the top circle. Just make sure you get a bunch on these brad legs here. And glue this kind of in this main scallop area here. Press it down. And before you let your adhesive set, run your fingernail, I'm using my bone filler, something underneath this top circle to make sure it didn't accidentally get glued down with like glue seeping out or anything. Totally didn't, it's fine. And doing it this way means you don't have the ugly brad legs on the inside of your cover here. And there we go. Now we need some sort of string to tie this up. I like this yellow, we'll go with this. You know it'd be pretty. All right, let me see how long this video is, you guys. Oh no, it's too long. All right, it'd be pretty if you got 3 strands of embroidery floss, 3 different colors from the kit, and braided them together to make a closure. That'd be super cute. I'm not gonna do that right now because this video is close on an hour. So, let me just see how much we need. Okay. Okay, so I just take my 30-inch long piece of floss, fold it in half, and make a loop. And I'm gonna loop this around here. So it's coming out like this. I didn't even tie a knot. You can tie a knot if you want. I don't think it's going anywhere. And then I just wrap it around, under, around, and down. And that's my closure. And then sometimes I will tie beads on the ends of these strings. That is super fun. Right now, I'm gonna just do hearts. Let me find my heart punch. All right, I've got this little heart punch. I think I linked to this too. It came in a set of like, 5 different sizes. But I like this size. So this is another fun way to finish off your strings. Uh-oh. That one went flying. So they don't unravel. And it looks cute. So let's trim these down. Going to ink these. I do this on signature strings when they're inside the journal because you don't want to add too much bulk, but you want to kind of finish off the strings and make them look cute. And honestly, I didn't make this idea up. I saw it somewhere. It might have been Treasure Books, but it's been so long I can't remember now. So we are gonna glue these two hearts together and just have the string in the middle. So I just put glue down the center and lay the string on the glue, and then I'll glue the whole back of the second heart. And then just line them up together. And there we go, and we'll just do that for the second one as well. So I just use whatever scraps we're just laying here from the kit. And the only hard part on this is trying to get them to line up before the glue sets, but it's pretty close. All right, so let me clear this area here. So here you guys, this is our finished project we just made today in under an hour. Look how cute this is. Super quick, easy, great for gift giving, and it looks super duper cute with the journal. So I'm gonna do a last flip through. I know when videos don't do this, it really bothers me. I like to see what the finished thing looks like again so I can like compare mine with it. So let's do a flip through of what we made today real quick, and then I'll let you guys go. We'll try to get this under an hour. So here's our folio. We've got this pocket. It's got this little 4-page booklet here. We've got a bookmark to use, large journaling card, and this one, which we glued the square on the back of, and they all fit in this pocket. And there's definitely room for more things in here. So that's what I was saying, if you want to make a bigger booklet, you can. So in this pocket, we've got the tag we just stapled fabric on, this journaling card. This one we used a scrap from the kit and folded it over for a little tab on the top. And then this little mini folio, I did a tab punch. You could just use a scrap of paper from the kit to tuck in this mini folio, and then it opens up and we've got this little fox card in there. Super fun. Thank you guys for watching and coming along on this fun folio adventure. Don't forget to grab your free folio kit and make this with me, and I will see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.